Good morning. Thank you for your patience. I was at a student ceremony this morning for my kids. So if everyone could rise and pledge allegiance. Ready to begin? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could you call a roll, please?
Commissioner Leo Molitor.
Present.
Commissioner Nora Idukas. Here. Chair Bill Bartels.
Here.
Vice Chair Richard Rodriguez.
Here. Come now to a time for public comment. It's a time set aside for comments by citizens on matters not appearing on the agenda. I have no speaker cards. Moving on. Item number 5, LU070150, the Ojai Spring Car Wash. Christina.
Commissioners, good morning. For the record, my name is Christina Rizzari, and I'm with the RMA Planning Division. I'm here today to present for your consideration a new conditional use permit for use to continue the use of the existing Ojai Spring Car Wash for an additional 10-year period. I'd like to point out that all structures and uses on the property are currently existing and have been approved by previous CUPs or other modifications. Looking at the site plan, the project is located in the Ojai Valley and located within the Ojai Valley Area Plan. It is along Highway 33 and approximately 1.1 or 1.5 miles from the city of Ojai city limits. The site is actually located on the corner of Highway 33, otherwise known as North Ventura Avenue, and Villanova Road. The parcel is a half acre in size with a general plan designation of existing community and its zoned commercial plan development. Parcels directly to the north, south, and the parcel directly to the right of the property is zoned commercial plan development. The parcel is located across the road of Highway 33 is zoned residential plan development, as the parcels along here as well. As I had mentioned, the request is to continue the use of the existing Ojai Spring Car Wash for an additional 10-year period, and the structures already remain on site. The site plan shows the access is from Villanova Avenue, the ingress and egress over a paved road. Excuse me, I'm a little sick. So we have the vacuum area, which a overhang is over the structure. Well, an overhang is there. We have a car wash tunnel, which uses recycled water to wash the vehicles that use the car wash facility. 2 water tanks, well actually 4 water tanks that are approximately 750 gallons worth of water. A exterior patio cover where patrons wait for their vehicles as they're being washed and detailed. An existing building which holds the cashier area, a retail sales area with a snack bar as well, a restroom, some storage area, and the reverse osmosis equipment which is used to recycle the water used at the car wash facility. Also, in the attic area of the existing building is an office which is in the attic area. The parcel also is paved and will accommodate 14 parking spaces. There's also a corner monument sign which is approximately 5 feet 7 inches tall. Some pictures of the site. This is the car wash looking from Highway 33. Another picture. This is the actual. I forgot to mention the quick lube and oil change bay that is existing on site. You see the entrance to the vacuum area and also some security lighting and landscaping. This is the vacuum area and overhang, and the entrance to the car wash is through here. the patio area where patrons wait to be seated with landscaping that will also be maintained. All the landscaping on site will be maintained throughout the life of the permit. Just some other pictures of some landscaping. Again, more pictures of landscaping, and this is trash receptacle. So the environmental document, it was deemed categorically exempt under CEQA, under Class 1 existing facilities. Some project conditions of note: the days of operation are 7 days per week, with operating hours from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., with a maximum of 22 employees allowed on site at any one time, and a maximum of 1 delivery per week, which will help alleviate some of the traffic along Highway 33. So recommended actions for the project. I ask that your commission find that the project is categorically exempt under CEQA Guidelines Section 15301 for the permitting or licensing of existing facilities, and find, based on in the evidence presented in Section B and C of the staff report and the evidence heard at the commission today, that the permit approval standards have been met, and adopt a resolution adopting and approving the proposed findings in Section B of the staff report, and approving the conditional use permit with the attached conditions, which are in your packet as Exhibit 2, and authorize that the planning director or her designee file a notice of exemption pursuant to the CEQA Guidelines, Section 15062. I'll answer any questions if you have them at this time.
Questions by the commission? Commissioner Molitor?
No.
Commissioner Dukas?
No.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'd like to open the public hearing. I have 2 speaker cards, Lou Rosario and Victor Lee.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, staff, and County Council. My name is Lou Rosario, and was the original case planner on this many years ago. And we're just here to answer any questions, should you have any.
I think there are questions, Lou?
I will wait and yield to Commissioner Dukas after she ends.
Okay, Commissioner Dukas?
Okay, is this the appropriate time to give disclosures?
Sure.
I went and visited the site and spoke to Tom Wackold, who sent an email regarding the retaining wall that's on the east side between his home and the car wash. And when I was out there, I went onto his property and then onto the car wash property. And he explained to me how a borehole was drilled in one portion, but the retaining wall, I don't know if there's a 2 or 3 foot elevation, maybe more than 3 foot towards the back of the property. And I did see that there weren't boreholes in that retaining, I mean not boreholes, but seep holes. You know how at the bottom of a retaining wall you usually don't have the concrete fill-ins so that the water can come through. So it dams it, according to what he says in his email. This is exactly what he told me, that when the rains come, his house floods because this retaining wall acts as a dam. And the single existing borehole that was bored through isn't enough to handle all the water because it's a pretty long wall. So I was wondering, is it appropriate for that retaining wall just to have the one borehole, or would it be appropriate for there to be seep holes, and is there any way to deal with the damming? He started, it appears that there was a borehole started further back on his property, but what it would have done with the elevation change is have a hole 3 feet high off of the car wash's property, and it would have been strange. So I'm wondering how that wall got built, and if it's to code, and what to do about his problem.
Can we, before we answer the question, other disclosures?
I visited the site yesterday and talked to Victor. I also tried to talk to Mr. Walcott, is his name, next door. He wasn't there. I'm extremely familiar with the site, as any time I go to the Ojai Valley and I need a car wash, I go there. I know how to wash cars properly, and most car washes don't. And this facility is one of the 2 facilities that I will use in the Oxnard-Ventura area that knows how to wash a car. So, in case you want to know how to wash a car sometime, I'll be happy to let you know, but they know how to wash a car. So anyway, yes, I visited yesterday and talked to Victor, and I am very familiar with the site.
Mr. Rodriguez. I've driven the site, passed the site many times also. I'm very familiar with it. I wasn't able to get out there. What I did, though, is pull it up on Google last night, or yesterday rather, and to get an aerial to try to get a better understanding of the communication we got from the next door neighbor about the problem.
I too have been by the site many times and taken advantage of the car wash a time or two. So,
Okay, Mr. Chair, if I may. What we have here is a matter of stormwater surface flow coming really from the uphill property of this other adjacent property that needs to be intercepted. And the solution to the problem occurs in sentence 3 of this email, if I may read. It says that when it rains, I get a lot of water from my neighbor's property behind me and also from the other side of my property. The proper solution for this is for this gentleman to incur the effort and probably the expense to cause a diversion of that water at that point. He needs to get up there and make a ditch or whatever is necessary to cause that water to flow elsewhere instead of his own property. What Mr. Victor has done, what Mr. Lee has done is he's drilled one hole that allowed a substantial portion of this water to drain onto the parking pad area, and it actually follows a line very close to what is a critical point where it would start to flow toward the car wash bay. The reason a hole cannot be drilled elsewhere is that this is a closed system by design, and to have stormwater entering the closed system would become problematic in terms of operations and the contaminants that could enter there. So this is really a matter for the homeowner to deal with, just as Mr. Lee had to deal with. If you recall, before the car wash was built, when it rained, Highway 33 used to flood terribly there. It was really bad. And as a condition of this project, the applicants at that time were required to improve that drainage, which they did at a cost of about $250,000. They literally redid the sidewalks and the underground culverting and put a big vault in the middle of Highway 33. It was very expensive for them to get all that storm, and it's never flooded since. So, everybody has a little price to pay as they go through in this life, and this person here needs to really take some initiative and divert the water as is needed for his own property.
So the retaining wall isn't, the creation of that retaining wall isn't damming his drainage, and is it proper for it not to have seep holes? That was the only question that I had.
This did not come up in the analysis of the project. However, the wall was designed and approved by the county after a review of the process, the permitting process at that time. This obviously wasn't raised as an issue. And all I can say is anytime you put any structure on any slope, it's going to cause some change in the surface flow. And in this instance, this project causes a change in the surface flow to dam the water there. It's been that way for many years now. And if this person next door does some effort up slope of his property, that problem will probably go away. And there's no way to really make water go uphill unless he pumps it. And it simply can't get into the car wash itself. It would be very problematic to the operation.
So the wall is permitted, and it's proper that it doesn't that retaining wall doesn't have anything but that borehole.
It was built as approved. Yes.
Okay.
And I have to say, as a case planner, I wish I were smart enough to see all that stuff when I did the permit. We just didn't know.
Let me be sure I understand what you said about additional seep holes. The car wash uses recycled water,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And so if you would put more seep holes or another hole further down toward, down the car wash,
yes, that
would bring dirty water into the recycled area because of the slant of the property.
Yes,
that's what you said.
That's correct.
Okay, I also noticed what I saw was kind of a drop from the street to where the house is. So I would imagine water's going to run down from that property, not just from the property above it,
yes,
but from the street too. So, and I would think that the homeowner would have contacted the seller or the escrow or an attorney to determine that he didn't get a proper declaration or what's disclosure on that the house had flooded before. So I think he might want to pursue that avenue.
Which throws it into the realm of civil.
Yes. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I'd like to add one clarification. In the staff presentation, the point was made that the water help me. Reclamation? No, the water store. What's the process? Reverse osmosis was used in water recycling. It is not. The process is one of creating deionized water so that when for sale and for rinsing. And I think for those of you that have used the car wash for a long time can recall that prior to the use of that facility, cars on a hot day had to be dried off in the tunnel because as soon as they came out in the sun, it dried so fast you got spots and everybody was screaming bloody murder about that. As soon as they went to deionized water, it just sheets off. And so the drying process is very much more facilitated and things move more quickly. So that's just a small clarification. I'll remain available if you have any more.
Any other questions? Mr. Lee, do you have any comments?
Good morning. Just want to add to what Lou had mentioned that in the water recycling facility, we have an EPA certified treatment processor that picks up whatever sludge about once a year. So we can't have any contaminated water going into our system for that reason. So, thanks.
Any questions? Yeah. Okay. 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 Commissioner Molitor? No. All right. Those are all the speaker cards, and since there are so many people in the room, I'm assuming there's no presentation by persons in opposition. And the rebuttal, I think we've now heard. Closing comments by staff. Christine? Okay.
Chair, could you move the two exhibits 11 and A into the record?
Yes, we would receive Exhibit 11 and Exhibit A into the public record. Oh, and yes, and Exhibit B, which is on the second page under Exhibit A. Close the public hearing. Commission?
So to follow up with County Council, this is a civil matter between the neighbor and the lack of disclosure. It has nothing to do with the way that the wall was designed.
I think that's a proper way of characterizing the issue. There may be other issues with adjoining landowners to the homeowner.
But it's not. But it's not a county concern.
It's not
Okay.
before the Planning Commission.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm satisfied, and I'd like to move approval of the recommendations. I know this has gone to the Ojai MAC, and it was unanimously approved by the Ojai MAC, and that's important to me too. So I would recommend approval of the recommendations of the Planning Division.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, item 7.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good seeing you.
Take care. We will have to do this,
Oh, yeah, every 5 years.
There you go.
Good morning, Planning Commissioners. Since we've been meeting so often, I don't have too much to report. Last week there was a AEP CEQA training at the City of Ventura, and we sent all of our planning staff to that, and it was an advanced CEQA training. I heard some reports back that was good and good for our staff to attend. We didn't attend because we were all here, but the state APA conference is also something that I'm looking in the budget for all of our staff to attend at least a day's, because it's so close that you don't have to pay for their travel expenses. That's going to be in Hollywood in September, so I'll be giving also you some more information via email when that gets closer. The housing element, that should be before you, I believe, in June is what we're looking at right now. And Bruce Smith will be presenting that. and wedding permits. I know we've had wedding permits in the paper recently, and we have had several of these permits filed. We've had the Tijerahata Golf Course file a modification of their permit to recognize these type of events on their properties. And so we're looking at perhaps getting a wedding planner at the county so we can expedite these, have them go to one person, and because we're very cognizant of the wedding season and we want to see if there's anything that we can do to salvage that to get those cases. I would imagine most of those would be heard at a planning director level hearing unless there is some significant controversy that we would bump it up to the planning commission, and there might be one or two of those coming your way. So that's all I have to report. Do you have anything for me?
Commission?
No, on that sheet we just filled out about July and August, I'm going to have to get back after I check my calendar. I put okay, I don't know of any particular conflicts, but if there is any, I will call. Should I call Danielle? Okay, thank you.
Any other? Richard?
Yeah, Kim, on that issue of availability, are we privy to know who's asking for a hearing on that time? It seems I sense that there's a particular applicant or some issue that requires to nail down the date that we're going to be available for a hearing. Is that the one in June? Okay, I apologize. We just wait till we get that package.
I'm not aware that we're looking at any specific case to see your availability. I think that we always try to get a full commission, and if there's a controversial item, we like to make sure that we have.
Well, I guess that's what I was kind of sensing as I read the email. I think it was.
But I think that we would like a full commission for the housing element, and we're really looking out for the Grimes Canyon mine. We have some big projects coming before you, so I think we're really trying to get a handle on the schedule to make sure that we schedule those appropriately when all 5 of you are here.
Okay.
Just to follow up on the film permitting thing, I did receive a call from the film permit person, and the communications have definitely improved that way, since the city has a unique relationship with filming, since the filming on the railroad starts 10 yards outside the city limit. So I appreciate that the county has majorly stepped up, and we've been able to have that dialogue. I'm not getting phone calls at home. Very much appreciated. Is there anything else? I'd like to adjourn in memory of Dan Price, who was a planner here and appeared before the commission and was the film permit guy, and recognize his passing and adjourn in his memory.